What's going on, everybody? It's Kanye. In today's video, we're going to be doing our second episode of the Play Like a Pro series. So today I wanted to do a build that's a little bit different from a Nikola Jokic build. Still kind of a big man build, but this build today is going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, this build was very hard to make, being that Giannis has such overpowered ratings in the game of 2K. I did my best to replicate his actual 2K ratings. Some are obviously going to be lower than what 2K has him, just because one, at a 6'10 power forward, it's going to be really hard to get, the really high speed, really high other ratings, and still get what we need to get to be good in my career. So to get started, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I have fun making these builds for y'all. So today we're going to be making a power forward. Something you could try is you could try this build at the small forward. I don't know how much of a difference it would make, but I went ahead and made it a power forward since Giannis primarily plays power forward. Handedness and jersey number up to you. We are going to be going 6'10". Weight, I went with 239. The reason I went with 239 is because it allows us to maintain the 89 strength, but it's also at the max. So, we get just to where we can get that 89 strength for our gold bully badge. Wingspan, I went ahead and maxed it out. It's just going to help us defensively and help us in a lot of different ways offensively as well. Body shape, you could go built here, but I went with defined. I feel like, defined, has a good body type for Giannis, but of course, pick it however you want. Now for our attributes. So we see here for the finishing, we've got 80 close shot, 80 driving layup, 92 driving dunk, 80 standing dunk, and a 77 post control. So when we look at Giannis's inside scoring ratings on 2K, I'll put them up here. We're going to see that Giannis is a 98 layup, 85 standing dunk, 91 driving dunk. So you can see that I have the layup much lower than 98. Personally, I don't think you need a layup that high, and so I'm trying to make this also a good 2K build, so please keep that in mind. So we went with an 80 layup. Giannis is a 91 driving dunk. I went ahead and upped it to 92, so that way you can get the elite contact dunks. And then he also has the 85 standing dunk. I just have it as an 80. I needed that in order to work out some badges in different categories, so I thought an 80 versus an 85, not that different. He's got a 79 post hook. That lines up with your close shot. We have an 80. He has a 87 post control. We have a 77 here. I just don't see you playing back to the basket too much on this build, so I went ahead and let the post control take a slight hit because I don't feel it's one of the more important attributes for this build. Now, let's go ahead and look at the badges. You can see here that we've got 23 badges to work with, so you're going to apply 10 in your first two categories, but then you're going to have 13 left over, which means you can put 7 on bully and you can put 6 on posterizer, and that way when you're driving to the rim, you've got some really good abilities to power through defense. Not to mention, when you core one of these, you'll get some badges back and you can equip those where you like. Moving on to shooting. I have Giannis with a 73 mid-range and an 73 ball and a 71 free throw. Now, for Giannis, he has on 2K ratings an 84 mid-range and then a 73 ball, or 71 three ball, excuse me. So the thing with the mid-range shot, I could have upgraded it to 80 or 84, but realistically, we don't take a lot of mid-range shots in my career. If you do, more power to you. Please upgrade it. But I really do think you're going to be able to hit with a 70 or 73 three ball. I made a build recently with a 79 3 with no badges, so I feel like, and I was able to hit relatively easily on it. So I feel like once this build's badged out, you can hit with a 73 ball relatively consistently. I've seen people, already hitting with 73 balls. So that is definitely something to consider. But again, this is a Giannis build, so the shooting's not where you want it. Feel free to move it around, but this is just how I have it based on his ratings. So let's look at the shooting badges. We do have 14 badges here. Now, I will also add, if you play the My Career storyline and a few games into the season, you're going to get 4 extra badges here. What I would recommend is go ahead and get one of your extra badges on shooting, so that way you have 15. So you can apply your first 10 in this area here, and then you can give yourself bronze catch and shoot with the leftover 5 after you add one. Moving on to playmaking, we're going to see here that we've got an 80 pass accuracy, an 80 ball handle, and a 67 speed with ball. Now, for Giannis has an 84 pass accuracy, an 87 ball handle, and an 80 speed with ball. Now, I could have definitely made this build like 6'8" to where we could have got a much higher speed with ball, maybe even 6'7", but realistically, we wanted the height. That's what makes it a Giannis build, right? We still have an 80 ball handle, so you are going to get a lot of those good animations, and I don't think you need much above an 80 pass act, especially on a build like this, and we still got 18 playmaking badges. So when we look at the playmaking badges for Giannis, we can go ahead and see we're going to have 10 to apply here. You are going to be able to get things like bronze handles for days, bronze mismatch expert, bailout, break starter. You can get your big man badges here. You can get quick first step, but then we also can get, a gold tier 3 badge of dimer or post playmaker. I would definitely recommend needle threader and unpluckable this year. So I would take your remaining badges and possibly apply them, 2 of them at least, in the playmaking area, so you can at least get bronze or silver needle thread or silver unpluckable. I think those are definitely going to be very important this year, so make note of that. Moving on to defense and rebounding. Giannis's defensive stats are absolutely insane, and they are going to be very hard to replicate. So you see here, we have an 85 interior defense, 78 perimeter defense, 80 block, and an 80 defensive rebound. Here's Giannis's 2K ratings. 91 interior defense, so the 85, we got pretty close. 95 perimeter defense. You're not going to be able to get that as a 6'10 build unless I think you can completely minimize the weight, and maybe it helps, but we don't want to lose strength. So we went with a 78 perimeter defense, which is still really good for a 6'10. We've got an 80 block, which Giannis has an 81, and we also have an 80 defensive rebound, which Giannis, if we look at the rebounding stats, has a 92. Again, I didn't want to completely max these things out because it hurts the build in so many different areas. So you really have to go for a balanced look, especially when you're trying to replicate these NBA players. So this is how we have the defense laid out. When we look at the badges here, you got 10 badges to put in this area. You're going to be able to get your big man badges like box out, beast, chase down, but you also can get guard badges like interceptor, pick dodger, menace. And then when we look, you can also get bronze challenger in the tier 2, which is really nice. But then you have 8 left. That's going to allow you to get at least one good defensive badge here in the tier 3. If you add a couple of your extra badges here, you're definitely going to be able to get maybe 2 bronzes. I would definitely recommend something like brick wall for Giannis. You can run the pick and roll. You could also just do anchor and rebound chaser. There's definitely a lot of options here, especially once you start coring badges. Now lastly, we're going to go ahead and move down to the physicals here. When we look at the physicals for Giannis, we see we have a 90 speed and an 87 acceleration. So I simply just maxed out what I could get on these physicals. Like I said, I lowered the weight down to where I could still get an 89 strength. I adjusted, everything else, and we were able to get a 76 speed, 70 acceleration, which on a 6'10 is really, really good. Giannis's strength is a 94. We have an 89, so that's really close. Giannis's vertical is an 85. We have an 82. So overall, we have really good physicals for a my career build, and not to mention it's still relatively going to be able to play like Giannis. We have to understand any build you make on this game, you're not going to be able to make these superstars 100% accurate, but we can get pretty close. And so this is how I would say you should lay out your attributes if you want to make a true Giannis build. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our takeovers. Since this is a Giannis build, I do think we definitely want to use finishing moves as our primary takeover. And then for our secondary takeover, I think, you could do paint intimidation, or you could do something like extreme clamps. It really depends on how you're going to be playing. If you plan on playing more perimeter defense on this thing, but since you are a power forward, I'd probably go with paint intimidation. Actually, instead of paint intimidation, I would probably do stuff blocks, just because that is a Giannis feel. So we'll do finishing moves and stuff blocks for our takeovers, and we're going to see that we have created a build that has shades of Giannis is the first one that pops up. So clearly we're doing this pretty well. And we have made a 2-way interior finisher. Now, I think that is a very accurate name to describe Giannis. I haven't seen this build name in the game yet. Of course, obviously I haven't. It's only been out a couple days, so this build may get made before you know it. But I haven't seen it yet. 2-way interior finisher, I think, is a really good way to describe Giannis, and it's the very first player that pops up when we get the shades of. So let's go ahead and look at the badges now, and I'll kind of show you how I would lay them out. I know we kind of briefly went over it in the attribute section, but I want to go through it a little bit further so we can look at the core badges and stuff. So Giannis, we definitely want Slithery. I think that would be helpful on a Giannis build. We can get Limitless Takeoff on gold, Fearless Finisher on silver, Aerial Wizard. I don't know how high you'll need this yet, since it is just for alley-oops and putbacks, so I'm going to throw it on bronze. We'll go ahead and get Posterizer on, well, actually, can we get any of these on gold? We're going to get gold bully. We're going to core it. And then we're going to go ahead and get posterizer on silver. And we've got 2 badges left. Now, if you wanted to unequip, we have 15 in tier 1 and tier 2. So if you wanted to unequip 5 of those, you could technically come in here and get fast twitch or rise up if you want it. I would like to get masher, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower my fearless down, and I'm going to go and lower my slithery down to silver, and I'm going to go ahead and get silver masher. So this is how I would lay out Giannis's finishing badges. This is with the mindset of attacking the rim off the dribble or off of cuts. If you wanted to be a bigger big man and like stay around the painted area, then by all means switch these down to like your back down punisher, drop stepper, things like that. Moving on to shooting. I think you would definitely want midi magician on just to help with those mid-range shots. I would definitely use claymore because this thing's going to be a spot up shooter. Something like slippery off ball will help on those cuts that you want to make. We can also do guard up, which helps open shots. You could do corner specialist as well, but what I would probably do is go ahead and up your slippery off ball. And then when you get your extra badge, I would put on catch and shoot on bronze, but since we can't apply that extra badge here, we can't really look at it, so I'd go ahead and throw on silver corner specialist. And then obviously we can take one of these badges and we can core it, and we have 4 badges left, and I would go ahead and throw on silver green machine. So overall, as a catch and shoot player, if you're getting open shots off the catch, you're going to be able to hit, I think, with the low 3 ball. I truly do. And if you hit a few of them in a row, then you're going to really be able to keep hitting them because now we've got green machine. Looking at playmaking. I think we definitely want hyperdrive on silver. Go ahead and throw handles for days on bronze and killer combos on silver. That's the nice thing I would like to point out I think is going to be beneficial for making big builds this year. If you make a 6'9", 6'10", and these handles for days and killer combos aren't tier 3 badges, I definitely think that's going to break the game if a guy makes a pure playmaking big, because he's going to be able to handle the ball extremely well because he's going to get these badges for very, very cheap. Quick first step, we definitely went on silver. Vice grip off rebounds, I'll go ahead and throw it on bronze. Actually, I'm going to take that off. So we've got 9 equipped. Let's go ahead and get 1 more equipped. So let's throw on clamp breaker on bronze. And then what we'll do is we'll come down here and we'll go ahead and get silver needle threader. Then we'll core it and we'll get silver unpluckable. And then we've got 2 left. So we can up clamp breaker, and we can also throw on something like, well, what do we want to throw on here? We throw on floor general on bronze, so that's probably what I would do. So there you have it. That's how I'd lay out the playmaking badges. And now lastly, for defense, you definitely want bronze interceptor. We definitely are going to want, we definitely want box out beast on silver. We definitely want challenger on bronze. And then we can go ahead and get chase down artist on bronze. So we've got 7 left. I would recommend going with probably brick wall. You could go brick wall on gold and then get all those badges back by coring it. So we've got 7 left, and I would suggest if you're going to be guarding bigs, I would do anchor, but rebound chaser is also important, so I would throw on rebound chaser. And there you have it. And if you have your extra badges to apply, what I would recommend doing is leaving chase down artists on bronze, so you have 2 badges there, and then if you throw on a couple extra badges in this area, you might be able to get anchor on bronze too, which would be very beneficial, because you could leave this on bronze, you could leave box out beast on bronze, and you'd have 3 left over. You add 2 of your 4 from playing my career, and you get bronze anchor. But yeah, that's how I would lay out the badges. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Again, if you all have any NBA players you want me to make a build for, again, last year in 2K22 I was making these all the time and people seemed to really enjoy it, and I got a lot of feedback. And now with the builder being so much more versatile compared to the pie chart system in current gen last year, I think I'm definitely going to be able to make a lot cooler builds. So y'all just let me know. I had a really good time making this build, and I'll see y'all on the courts. Peace.